heat exchanger cracked just before Christmas. I had no heat, and this thing blows. So it's $28,000 that I have to spend on this. If somebody's ripping you off or not doing their work properly, you let them go. I went through probably like 3 or 4 contractors in KWC that didn't work out, and people were gouging me. And then I said, hey, you do this unit, Dan, you do another unit. They're competing. I have one more unit. Whoever finishes first at my price, he gets the next one. You have to be strategic. If I had to raise, let's say, $2.5 million, I raised $3 million, an extra $500,000. This actually dilutes the returns because you're raising more money. So this is in Galt. Galt and Preston is where I have these buildings. In Cambridge, it's sort of split up in 3 different areas. Hespeler is the new area, Galt and Preston is the old area. So what I like to do is actually buy in the older areas, because the new areas will actually lift these older parts of the city. So let's walk over here. So we have this building that we bought. We sold the 10-plex because I couldn't raise. I couldn't get all the money. I had to raise. Normally what I do on a raise is this. It's 25% is a down payment of $7 million, and then 10% of that, of the $7 million, I also have to raise. So it's 35% is the total raise. So here's 141 Linwood. You can see the theme of all these buildings. Yeah. It's very similar. 2.5-story walk-ups or 2-story walk-ups, no elevators. Try to get a pitched roof.
And so how important is that no elevators?
The reason, it's not the elevators. The elevators is costly to maintain. Having the elevator, the contractors, it could be a ThyssenKrupp, it could be other elevator companies. It's a monthly contract, and then you have to do yearly inspections, TSSA, all that. So it gets expensive. The main expense is actually not necessarily the elevators. It is expensive on a monthly basis, but what it is that if there's any kind of deferred maintenance on the exterior, then it gets costly. I've dealt with buildings where you get water penetration on an old brick building, water penetration. So if you're doing, we call it like using a swing stage, a drop. So I was doing a building over in Flemington Park, where it's built 1960s or 70s, and there's water penetration through the bricks. So one drop, like a swing stage coming down, it was $24,000. So one drop is 24, bang, another drop, and all throughout the building, right? So what that means is that it's probably a good, I think it was $500,000. This is a condo corporation.
Yeah.
So if I'm buying a building that has, like, let's say 4 stories, then I have to get a swing stage. I have to get, I'm not sure if have to get David arms. These are major construction, so I'd rather avoid that. So that it is the elevators, and plus if there's any kind of exterior maintenance that I have to do. So something like this, when I bought this, all I had to do was the balcony rails I had to redo. They're old ones and they're rusting, and I had to spend about $24,000 on all the balconies, and I think it was about $48 a linear foot. I always price it out by square footage, by linear, things like that, and that's how I compare contractors to contractors. I'm getting cold, yeah. So let's just go in. So this is it. This is a 2.5-story walk-up. Nothing too complicated.
And so was this on the MLS?
No. So a gentleman, an agent that owned this, he's from Guelph. He owned, I believe, 400 or 500 units. Oh. A super nice guy, because we actually delayed on the closing. So what happened was we couldn't get how can I raise all the money? Well, let's take a look at the building. So I think we did the mansard roof. We did some of the siding just to spruce it up, because yeah. some of these things I didn't raise that money. What I did was, just over time, these couple of years, I save on the cash flow. I redid some of these, the foyer. This is just the entry points, but you have to upgrade this. I didn't upgrade a lot of it when I first bought it. What I did was I did the inside units first, and I left these for about a year. I could have gotten all the money up front from all my investors, even for myself, but what happens is that if you get all that money, you raise all the money, you actually dilute the returns. You know this what I'm talking about, Matt. Is that if I had to raise, let's say 2.5 million, I raised $3 million, an extra 500,000. This actually dilutes the returns because you're raising more money. Okay, so you have to be strategic. You'll see the old part. So this is, if you can see, this is I retiled this, the front foyer, painted the stairwell, redid the floors, but I didn't do it for the back section. So you see the old back section, how it looked before, so the before and after. Let's go and take a look at what I'm doing. Very, very simple. There's nothing too complicated. Mailboxes here. These are not terrazzo floors. These are regular concrete floors, but I had to redo the floors. Repainted. Did the trim work around the doors. I didn't change the lights. All I did was change the light bulbs. You just do things in stages. So in a building like this, most of the mechanical will be in the basement. In a larger building, most of the mechanical stuff will be on the rooftop. It's just that the water pressure, it's easier for it to drop into each and every unit. I do have the right keys, don't I? Sometimes you forget what you have and what you don't have. No, you know what? I don't. But I do have, give me one sec. No, let me get the right keys. Give me one sec.
The struggle's real even when you got 170 units. We all know this problem of too many keys.
I have 5 bedrooms and I can't keep track of the keys, so I feel embarrassed to even imagine having 170 units, guys.
And then all the maintenance rooms, and then the keys for the laundry, and just all those different things.
The right keys will be good. So this is the boiler. When we negotiated the purchase of this building, I knew the boiler was shot. So boiler and the roof. So this one I got cash back on close, but it's different, guys. Just because you got a cash back on close, this is with BMO. We got the money, but they didn't want to release it out. So it's $130,000, but they held it for 1 year. What that means is that they wanted to see how we operated. So they kept it on a separate account, separate fund. I had no access to it for 1 year. And this little puppy, the heat exchanger cracked, I believe. And it was a waterfall. I'll show you this, it was crazy. I don't know if you can see the water. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So the heat exchanger cracked, and there it was. There's water everywhere. I had to have that for 2 days. What happened was that I believe the heat exchanger cracked just before Christmas. I had no heat. Just before or after Christmas. It was like literally, dude, it's still running. I have to heat this building, and this thing blows. So it's $28,000 that I have to spend on this. But I had the money, right? It was actually a couple months, so I had to actually save that cash flow. Always make sure that you have some cash available. Don't spend it all. Don't use it for another property.
Do you have like a rule of thumb for your reserves? Or?
I don't. But you know a certain amount of how much things will cost. So I knew that this was gonna go. So I kept at that. For a building like this size, you would like at least 3 months, okay, worth of operating costs, mortgage payments, and things like that. You have to have some type of funds available, all right? Because if you get caught, you can be in big trouble really quickly, okay? Because sometimes you just can't get 30,000, right? So if you have it, great. So this one, it was 28,000. This is a 1.2 million BTU boiler system. So 28,000. But if you think about it, 28,000 is actually not that bad for 32 units, right? And each unit rents for about 1,000 to about 1,200. So it's actually about 11 now to about 1,250 now. So rents are coming up. So I had to get that done within about 2 days. One of my mechanical specialists here does all my buildings, as you know, and he'll come and inspect if I'm buying a building. It's from Afterglow. He knows all that. He has all these trucks that say, hey, Steve, go and take a look at this building. I'm going to be buying it. How does it look? All right. always work with your local contractors, mechanical contractors, your plumbers, electrician. You always have a few of them readily available.
Any tips for finding good contractors?
No, the thing is, that's hard. Like, I go through bad contractors as well. I let people go, and to be honest with you, if somebody's ripping you off or not doing their work properly, you let them go. You let them know. You know, you say, hey, you know, things are not working out. Be respectful, because sometimes their cost might be high. For whatever reason, maybe he's just starting out, his cost is higher than another person that's been established, right? So you always go through your sources, and then you work with them, okay? Sometimes you can work with contractors. So this guy's good. I went through probably like 3 or 4 contractors in KWC that didn't work out, and people were gouging me, okay? So you know quick. And you don't pay contractors. Guys, I read a comment, is that some guy paid a contractor. We're in an era, okay, that you can see everything. You can snap pictures, okay? So you snap a picture, a video, this unit, and you say, hey, okay, I'm showing you, it's been painted, here you go. Here are the floors. If you can't do it, get somebody else to do it. A neighbor, your super, or somebody else, another tenant from another unit to inspect it, making sure that that work is done before you pay that person. So never pay a person before the work is done. That's very, very crucial for contractors, because they will pick your pocket.
Any tips for finding, like, once you have a good contractor, any tips for keeping them?
Well, for me, I think it's becoming a skill. So obviously when you're scaling up, when you have more business for them, they'll stay with you. All right. I always tell my contractors, my main guy that you met, Dan over at Hyman, I give him everything first. I say, here it is, Dan. If he doesn't have that time, and he's doing another bigger project for another client, that's fine. Go ahead. I'll get somebody else, right? But if you have somebody good, try to keep them. Try to keep them busy, okay? If sometimes it's too busy and you're just working out, okay? So here's some tips for contractors. Even in this unit, I was having some problems with another contractor. He wasn't, you know, doing things fast enough. Prices were sort of climbing, and then I said, "Hey, you do this unit, Dan, you do another unit." They're competing. I have one more unit. Whoever finishes first at my price, he gets the next one, right? The other guy was still slow. Bang, Dan got it, right? For my cameras over at Elgin, I got 3 contractors coming at the same time, okay? You can say you're the owner, which I'm, you know, for that installation, excuse me, that installation, I made a mistake there, but that was only one contractor. The other 2, I said I was the property manager, all right? But I can line them up. I line contractors up. You don't have to say, hey, you're at 10:30, you're at 11, you're whatever, 11:30, you can space them out and they don't see each other. Or I can say, hey, all you guys are all at the same time, you're gonna come in at the same time, I'm gonna walk you through it, and you're gonna bid on it. So you can do that. Or you can take one guy first, right? Say, I want this, this, and that. They give me a quote, I black out the price, right? And then I photocopy, he doesn't see it, bang, I say, hey, quote me on this, right? Then you can read it. You say, okay, this, this, and that. Now you look really smart. And you ask the contractor, you say, hey, what about this? What should I do about this camera? How should I place it? Some guy says place it here, some says crisscross it so you don't have blind spots. Now you sound a little bit more sophisticated. You didn't know about the camera business, but now you got one person to explain it to you all, right? So one guy walks you through it, he points out everything, then you go to the next one, then you sound smarter. The next one and the next one. You can take 10 quotes if you really wanted to, right? And learn, right? So you don't have to, I'm not a camera guy, I'm not surveillance or whatever, but you can start learning. You can start getting boiler prices, right? But then they can tell you, well, BTU, same size and whatever. They can talk about this particular boiler, so on and so forth. So you get what I'm talking about. You're gonna learn quick, right?
Comparing apples to apples.
Exactly. You always compare apples to apples, right? And then if you do painting, right, you get a professional painter. I don't get professional painters because that's the lowest, sort of on the totem pole of contractor list. Painting is the lowest. But you say if you had to get a painting job, you say, hey, painter, quote me on this. Then you get their quote, they put it on paper. You go to another painter, say, hey, quote me on this. And then you can show them, right? Show them what the prices are and why they should be justified more than the other, right? But let's talk about this building. Yeah. This building, 1.2 million BTUs, $28,000. These are booster pumps circulating the hot water throughout the building. This is a closed unit system where when it heats the water up, that's just your heating system. Then you have booster pumps there, all that copper pipes. Here's the expansion tank, because when you heat, you have expansion because water creates gas, right? Some people are saying that hot water tank. Some lady goes like, dude, this is one building. Yeah, this is one building. These are commercial hot water tanks. Run very efficiently. They heat up the water very, very quickly. So this services. Look at the size. Look, dude, I'm about 5'2" on a good day. Okay, this thing's a little bit taller than me. So this will service 32 units. I used to manage 300 unit buildings, and the boiler system wasn't that much bigger. There was a 200 unit building. It was probably about 4 or 5 times bigger than this. They may have 2 of them, but that's the size of it. Okay, it's almost like your regular domestic. This is for domestic hot water. Your regular household domestic hot water tanks. All right, but these are commercial grade, so these will cost you about $3,000 to $4,000, or up to $5,000. It shouldn't be $5,000, but $3,000 to $4,000 is very, very normal. But we always buy those. Don't rent them, buy it. It just saves on over the long term. Your break even is probably what, 2 years, 3 years, maybe max 4 years. So buy those. Yeah, but that is it. For something very, very simple, this is it. Here's your boiler. There's your electrical on that side. Regular panels, things like that. Nothing complicated, right? And then you have your units. Same thing with your units. Nothing complicated. You have your kitchens, your bathrooms, your living rooms, your bathrooms, all of that. Very, very simple. And I'll show you a renovated unit that we don't do too much, but we do lift it, do the appropriate renovations, and then we lift that rent up. Yeah, that's it. That's it for this. So we'll take a look at the laundry room.
Yeah.
Hey, Tammy. Tammy's my super.
Yeah.
You're on camera. She's my super. I always hire somebody in the building that does all the work for me. They're usually accessible, and again, I don't pay them minimum wage. I pay them $20 an hour. So here the washing, here's the laundry area, the washing machines and the dryers.